I was losing so much hair. I really thought if it continues like this, I'm going to be bald, really. So much hair was coming out into my hands in clumps. It was wrapping around my brush. Thankfully, that the final formula of youth juice was made right around this time. And I started using it, and I was almost like thinking, could anything help this at this point?
Hmm.
Because it was I thought it was like, this is like a medical, like emergency, basically, I was blown away, truly blown
So
away.
our color security shampoo basically is the cornerstone. It's the holy grail of our color outline because the job of the shampoo is the critical first step in healthy scalp. 3 years in development, we added this new product now that actually improves your scalp health. And it's called Youth Juice Collagen Scalp Serum. And Youth Juice is actually key to healthy hair by protecting the scalp collagen. So it's a different approach than any other scalp serum or hair growth type product that's out there on the market now, because basically what we do is we treating the scalp because we found out that the scalp is so important in producing healthy, shiny, glossy, thick, full hair. So healthy scalp collagen is critical to keeping the skin youthful. And the key to that is that it produces healthy hair. So it's still that same kind of philosophy, healthy scalp, healthy hair. But now we added something in between. If we can improve the collagen in your scalp, we can improve your hair. We can make it thicker, fuller, less shedding, less hair loss. So your scalp skin or your scalp skin, even on your face too, contains collagen. 70% of the scalp skin, just as in your face, contains collagen. And because of enzymatic degradation, free radical degradation, that skin on your scalp and on your face actually becomes less firm. It loses elasticity. We're all familiar with that. We have all heard that, in relation to our face. But have we heard that the same thing is happening on your scalp? And because of that, it affects the hair follicles. The hair follicles are what produce the hair. So as the collagen that surrounds the hair follicle degrades, the hair that's produced in that follicle becomes stiff and brittle. The follicle doesn't expand, so the hair as it's forming becomes finer and weaker, and it leads to premature hair loss and shedding. So what we did was we developed this product, Youth Juice, and we decided let's do some real clinical studies with an outside laboratory. And the first study we did was we took Youth Juice and they applied it to human skin cells. And what we found was a significant increase in collagen production. Collagen 1 production was up 90%. Collagen 4 production up 67%. Elastin production, which is another key protein in the skin, up 67% in just 24 hours after using just like 0.3% of youth juice on the skin cells. So basically, youth juice stimulates collagen synthesis in the skin. Youth juice also was tested for anti-inflammatory effects. And basically what they did is they took hair follicle cells and they basically irritated them, applied the youth juice, and just 24 hours later, irritation was down by 92%. So now youth juice basically is an anti-inflammatory, anti-irritant, because I told you before, if you irritate the scalp, if you irritate the hair follicle, it's going to affect the production of the hair. Then we actually even did a third test. We did an anti-stress test because lots of people hear about, well, when you're under stress, you lose hair. And it's a fact. You do because your body produces cortisol. cortisol is a stress hormone. And when that hormone is produced in your body because you're under stress or you have a traumatic situation, your hair actually stops growing and the hair follicle begins to shrink and the hair sheds. And that's why it could happen a month after the stress. It could happen a week after the stress. So what they did was they basically added cortisol to human hair follicle cells. And with the cells under stress, applied the youth juice, and basically the effect of the cortisol was reduced. The damaging effect of the cortisol was reduced by 34%. So what is youth juice? Like I've talked about how youth juice affects the collagen. It improves it, it stimulates, it renews it, it protects it. But what is it? Well, it's a combination of lots of active ingredients that not just target one thing or two aspects of hair loss or hair shedding, but it goes after all the aspects. And it's especially focused on that collagen that surrounds each of the hair follicles on your head. You got about 100,000 hair follicles on your head. So it surrounds each hair follicle that may be in distress. So youth juice not only can, protects the collagen, but it also has DHT blockers. Remember, DHT is that thing that basically destroys the hair follicles in men and in women. It has saw palmetto in it. It has a material that's a complex called Procapil that you've probably heard of. Procapil has been used for years and it's a proven, DHT blocker, and also it helps anchor the follicle in the hair in the follicle, I should say. It also contains vasodilators in youth juice, things like arginine, niacinamide, caffeine. These increase microcirculation to the hair follicle to improve the nutrition, because the more blood you get into the hair follicle, the growth cycle will be in long and the hair will be thicker and fuller. But we also included two things that aren't in any other scalp product that's on the market now. And they're the most powerful natural antioxidants that basically are available today. And that one is called Pycnogenol, which is derived from maritime pine bark in southwest France. The other one is called Amla Extract, which is basically derived from Indian gooseberry. And it's an Ayurvedic medicine, and it's been used for thousands of years in India, and it's a cure-all. So these two ingredients, besides the DHT blockers, besides the vasodilators, besides the moisturizing agents that we have, they're all together in youth juice to give you the total cure for thinning hair loss, and also hair that's been damaged by environmental or internal types of conditions that you may have. Therefore, we did a 30-panel shedding test where we took 30 subjects, men and women, and we had them use youth juice for 28 days, all right? And we measured hair shedding on day 0, before they started, and day 28. And we got up to 90% less shedding on our subjects in 28 days. And Britt's going to give you a little example of that because she was one of our internal testers, that, tried youth juice once we feel that we had the final formula. Like I said before, the studies have made us confident that youth juice preserves the youthfulness, preserves the elasticity, the healthy quality of the collagen surrounding the hair follicle. And this in turn will minimize the thinning of your hair, the loss of hair, and it will produce thicker, fuller hair. So basically, healthy scalp, healthy collagen, produces healthy follicles, which produce healthy, glorious healthful, whatever, glossy hair. So I'm going to turn it over to Britt now, and she's going to tell her experience with youth juice.
Not much science going on there.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I'm sorry, but you have
It's
to, it's a
fascinating.
scientific product.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
I can't not, I can't cheat you on the technology.
Yeah.
Well, I guess in any industry, without innovation, without science, no one's leveling up.
Right.
And
Exactly.
that's what we do at Well. That's why every product is a slam dunk.
Yeah.
Because we're bringing this brand new innovation to the industry, something you've never seen before.
Right.
And guys, you're going to have so much fun with this. But yeah, let's hear your testimonial.
Well, it could not have come at a better time for me, this product, because I have 2 kids under 2. And a baby right now. And especially with this last pregnancy and this baby, I was losing so much hair. It didn't happen quite as much with the first baby, but with this one, I really thought if it continues like this, I'm going to be bald, really. Like so much hair was coming out into my hands in clumps. It was wrapping around my brush. I was putting it on the wall of my shower just to see. And it was like it was a disturbing sight, but I was like torturing myself thinking like, what is happening here? And it just happened to be, thankfully, that the final formula of Youth Juice was made right around this time. And I started using it, and I was almost like thinking, could anything help this at this point? Because it was I thought it was like, this is like a medical, like emergency, basically, And I promise you that I was blown away, truly blown away, that in less than the 28 days for me, I noticed a dramatic difference in the shedding, like completely normal shedding in that period of time. So, this is my own personal experience. We also have the clinical studies, which we can show you here. But just an amazing kind of thing for me. Once again, they've come through. I had the issue with my volume and the dryness. And now, after having the baby, this has helped me tremendously. So we'll just, some of these clinical studies are incredible. As Dr. Joe said, 90% reduction in shedding. And this is an outside laboratory study. You can see day 1 there versus day 40. Unbelievable difference there. Right? Yeah, unbelievable. We can go to the next one. Yeah, so this also within this 28-day trial, clinically proven that the scalp feels 90% healthier. Hair feels more resilient, 90% people said. 87% said their hair felt stronger. 80% hair felt thicker. 87% were losing less hair. Scalp was less irritated by 87% of people. 93% felt that their scalp was more hydrated. 97% easy to apply. And 87% would continue using it. Really, really great numbers there. And yeah, I mean, just the picture says it all here. Day 1 versus day 96. It's unbelievable, the difference there. And even for me now, it's been a few months and I have tons of little hairs. I've actually filmed a video of myself, but tons of hair growing in around here again. It's just, yeah, I mean, that picture speaks volumes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about usage, Britt, how you use it?
Oh, yeah. So, I mean,
it can be on wet and dry hair, but just how you do it yourself.
That's another thing, actually, speaking of wet and dry. I really love that I use this every single day, and I don't like to wash my hair every day. And you can apply this. I apply it to my parts. Like I do it on a few parts just because I was losing so much. And then all around my hairline, because that was also an area where I was losing, just anywhere targeted to the areas where you're noticing more, hair loss or irritation. But along the part in the hairline, I would say definitely is like the staple area. And you just sort of, you take the dropper, dab it, like this, and then you just sort of rub it in. And it's not going to make your hair greasy, which is an amazing thing, I think. And I think one of the things that we're hearing in reviews coming back that they love, that it's not sticky. It's not going to make your hair greasy. Like I said, you can use it every day and not have to worry about washing your hair after. Actually, Emily, who's behind the scenes here, and we use it at night and then wake up in the morning and can go to work. We don't have to rewash our hair.
I do it in the morning. So I like wash my hair or rinse it through, and then I just put it on every day. And those of you guys that have known me for a few years, look at the transformation. I mean,
yeah. And it's also,
but no, it's incredible for me. It's absolutely amazing. The quality of my hair and like the strength, I love it.
And just also from like the social media side of things, I don't know what it is, if it's COVID or whatever, but it does seem like hair loss and hair shedding is much more of an issue than it ever was. And just to know that, you know, we can help. And I don't think people realize you have so many people out there that know that collagen is important to, you know, be using anti-aging products on your face. But I really don't think that people realize that your scalp is aging 6 times faster. And the implication of that, having your hair follicles shrink or become rigid, that was the kind of the fact that to me was so interesting, that they become rigid and then your hair can't latch on. The follicle can't latch on to the hair, right? And so it's falling out.
And like I say, no one is addressing that in the market today.
Yeah.
That you have to keep, they're always addressing the hair. They're not understanding that the follicle, which holds the hair, is made up of collagen, basically. And if that collagen degrades, it actually signals the hair to go into remission and be lost. And so by, just like you do for your face, like you just said, you want to increase, you know, the firmness of your face, the elasticity of your face, the same thing you want to do up here, because that has a secondary effect on the collagen. The collagen has an effect on the actual production of the hair. And it signals the hair. When it degrades, it signals the hair to degrade.
Right.
It's a natural age.
Yeah, another scientific breakthrough thing on you.
And like, have you heard that from any other company?
Right.
No.
Right.
Because there's, oh yeah, DHT inhibitors, yeah, vasodilators, and they stop there. They're not addressing one of the main problems with aging and collagen degradation and hair loss and hair thinning. Even if you just, because we all know, as even myself, I know my hair is thinner now at my age now than it was 20, 30 years ago, because it's a natural process. So what we're trying to do is get that back to 20, 30-year-old hair versus 69-year-old hair.
Love it. Yeah. And do you want to just show the box, Britt? Because it is beautiful as well. It's going to come in a stunning box. This is going to look incredible